me. Like, sexy lingerie does not work that well. And this is not me being like, oh my god, I'm body insecure. It makes me look like I'm role-playing as an adult. How about bunny suits? I have a bunny suit, and it came with like bunny ears and a bunny tail. It also comes with like fuzzy handcuffs, which is very cute. Useless though. I tried putting the handcuffs on, and there's like a button right there, so like I can literally remove my own handcuffs. I also didn't know there's a hole down there, so that was a shock. Like, when I first got my bunny suit, I wore the coochie meow meow was supposed to be. I put that through my head because I thought that was like the neckline. You know, like, this bunny suit is a V-neck bunny suit. That's huge. Apparently, that's for easy pee access. I didn't know that because they didn't show it in the fucking picture. One thing that I did not check was the tail of the bunny suit. I thought the tail was gonna be a clip-on. I never was able to try the tail because I did not know it was a butt plug. It wasn't a normal sized butt plug, bro. That butt plug was like 3 fingers big. Like, that's huge. Okay, I just need to tell you, I never wore a butt plug. Nothing has entered my ass aside from a camera. Like, I remember I was unboxing it. You know those, like, when you open a wine bottle and there's those things to, like, plug the wine bottle back in? Maybe it's, like, to plug in a jar, but I don't see a jar. No, that was supposed to go up my ass. Ferro, help! No! Leave me alone, Ferro. Leave me alone! Holy shit. We just had this full conversation about butt plugs with gun run on my forehead. I know what butt plugs are, Ferro.
I didn't come here to tell you what they were. I came here to tell you to stop. Stop. You're traumatizing chat.
Why?
Do you understand how bad it is when chat is literally screaming for me to help? How deep have you gone?
Chat, don't lie. I know your browser history. Don't fucking act like a saint.
Your chat doesn't see you that way. Chat loves you in a very different way.
I have had nothing up my ass but a camera. That's it.
And they didn't need to know about that either.
You're just jealous because you want to buy a butt plug, but you can't. You can have mine if you want.
I
don't
absolutely no use for a butt plug. Honestly, if I was going to buy a butt plug, I would leave it somewhere in the open to be like super like controversial topic of discussion when visitors came over.
Oh my god. I want to put like a vase and like all the normal stuff and then have like a massive dildo.
But if you do that, it has to be a bad dragon dildo because those things look so fucking wild. Is that modern art or is that something inappropriate? I actually support that manner of chaos. I think that's funny.
I used to have one because I thought it was so fucking funny. And then I threw it away because somebody, I don't know who, but some people decided to clip it. And then guess who saw the clip? My mother. Because if my mother comes digging through my shit, I don't want her to see that thing.
Listen, what you tell her, it's a tool for home defense. Because let's be real, what's
like
more traumatizing than getting clobbered with a giant dildo? Like, that's psychological damage.
You've seen a dildo before.
I've used dildos multiple times, just not on myself.
What? Does it hurt?
I mean, I didn't use it on myself. Sorry to ruin your excitement.
Okay, I have a question, but now I feel like that's too personal. I shouldn't ask.
You know, at this point, my face is an emote. I've given up on internet.
But if you already have a wee-wee, why would you need to use a wee-wee?
Because women have more than one orifice.
Leave me alone! I don't want to know. Don't talk to me. No, I'm not gonna call you. I'm not gonna accept your call. I don't want to know. I don't want to know. No, I'm not. No. My mod is pure and wholesome, and there's no way. Oh my god.
Did you forget like the whole like dating a stripper thing?
But I thought strippers only strip, right?
Oh, how do we phrase this? That's like Twitch friendly. If somebody is as willing to do something like that in front of a crowd, what can you imagine they're like in private? If we're starting at she is completely naked on a stage and then we go home, where do you think you go from there?
Here's how I think, right? So I'm a streamer. I prefer silence when I am off stream. Because of that, I assume that if your whole job is like sexual stuff, when you're on your downtime, you wouldn't want any more
Nah, it didn't work like that for me anyway. I don't know. Maybe it works like that for some people, but it was not the case for me. Holy shit.
Oh, well, I'm glad that you had a lot of experience, Ferro. Haha.
Stop asking!
I have one big question. Have you ever done it publicly? Specifically, have you done it in a park?
Yes.
I fucking knew it! Chat, I swear to God, it's not just one. Like, you're probably like the 16th person I know that has done this.
I mean, it was fun. I don't know what to tell you. It was fun.
It's dirty. It's dirty and it's gross and it's borderline illegal. Oh my god, I'm boring.
Only if you get caught.
I am so boring. Holy shit.
That's what I absolutely adore about you. You are the sweetest, most innocent. You gotta understand the dynamic here is Michi is the sweet and innocent, and I'm the monster that she keeps on a chain. I am Michi's scary dog privilege.
Yeah, if you're too mean, I'll cry. That's all I do though.
Exactly.
I'm not gonna say anything.
I have to be nice
Tomorrow
to. I
comes
have to be
cheer.
gentle.
Indo people, I swear to God, they're so nosy. If they see you like kiss in public, they will record you. Couples who are married kissing each other in public, and people will record it and shame the shit out of them. So that's why I'm like, why do people want to do it publicly? Especially if you're like in Indo. Why? This was during college. I went to a bar and there's like a bunch of foreigners that day. Yeah, I had like a normal conversation with someone, and then after the conversation ends, they're like, "Do you want to go back to my place? Like, I have a hotel nearby." And I was like, "Fuck no, hell no."
The first thing my mama said, never let a stranger take you back to their place. So, no, I won't do that. Bye-bye.
I have never done anything with somebody who wasn't at least a very good friend.
Can you repeat that? So you have done it with someone that's a good friend.
Yeah.
But they're not like your lover. They're just a friend.
Yeah, I had a she wasn't into dating men. Like that wasn't her jam. She was only into dating women. But every now and again, she got a hankering for the real thing. And we'd started hanging out and we were really good friends and whatever. And she was like, and I was like, yeah. And she was like, all right. And that lasted for like 3 years or something like that. I was so busy like working and stuff that I didn't have time to try to maintain a relationship. She had like a girlfriend. The girlfriend was like, I don't care. And then sometimes the three of us,
I don't think, okay, if I ever have the chance to like live abroad, I will never date. I'm staying single forever. I'm talking to Ferro, right? But everything that's going into my mind right now is like, that fucking the dancing
yeah, the toothless dance.
Yeah, the
or
toothless
whatever,
dancing.
yeah.
It is on loop in my head. Everything Ferro says goes in one ear out the other. Like I refuse to have it even stop for even a second in my mind. I don't know. I get very flustered very easily, especially when like I like you in a different way. But if you're just my friend, you can be butt naked and I'll be like, that's fine. My brain will censor it for you. I got you, bestie.
I literally so at one point when I was working at a woman's clothing store or whatever, one of my coworkers and I, we started hanging out, whatever. And she was like, "Oh my God, you're like a big brother." And I'm like, I am totally fine with that. Put me in the bro zone. I ain't got a problem with it. For months, we just been hanging out. Everything's been cool. And we're at her apartment, see a movie or something. And she's like, "Well, I want to shower and get changed." I'm like, "Yeah, go for it." She'd done this 1,000,001 times before. No big deal. Go in there, shower, get dressed and come out. And I'm reading a book. I hear the door open. I'm not really paying attention. This girl climbs on top of me, butt naked. And I'm like, she like looks at me and I look at her and I'm like, "Are you gonna get dressed? Don't put me in a zone and then think you're gonna snatch me out of that zone and throw me into another zone. That's not how that works. Once you lock me into a certain role in your life, you can't just take me from big brother to climb upon me naked. It doesn't work like that. Like, that's not how I'm built." And I realized later on, I think she's a brocon and she didn't have a brother. So like she designated me and then tried to brocon me. And I'm like, oh, that makes sense. But no, that's just not how that works. We don't do Alabama. I don't care where I live. We don't do Alabama.
I'm down to like try, but I don't think I can. If someone were to give like a crazy idea, I would probably be stun locked. Me, stone right now. So like, if you want to try. If you expect me to do something, I don't think I can.
The stripper was into some stuff, and at one point, man, it started to feel like a fucking part-time job.
Have you
It
ever
kind
felt
of got
like
to the point where
exhausted from doing all that?
shit, yeah. Oh my God,
Oh.
dude. She was into all like the BDSM stuff. She had a friend who was a professional dominatrix switch.
Oh.
I can put on my life resume, has been trained by a professional dominatrix.
The Ferro
Jesus
lore
Christ.
is developing over time. Holy shit.
That is interesting.
I'm firmly in favor of you joining like a nunnery or something.
You know, my mom said that too. I'm very transparent about everything, but like actual sex, I do get a little bit flustered still. If I like someone and they get naked, I do get like really, I break my neck and die. You know what I mean? So it's just not something that I'm used to. Perhaps I want a relationship, but if like Michi, you'll die a virgin, I'm pretty okay with that.
And there's nothing wrong with that. You know, Chet has a point.
Right?
You might want to take Gunrun off your head while we're having these conversations.
No, but Gunrun is here to guide me through life. Do it in a dark room, but like that doesn't make sense, Chet. I can barely find clothes with lights on. It's fucking impossible in the dark.
And when sight goes away, you just kind of naturally start focusing on other senses.
Okay, I'm a fashion person. Okay, even I can't know which clothes is which in the dark.
Well, you're not supposed to know which clothes is which in the dark. That's
Then
the
how the
clothes are
fuck am I
usually not
supposed to know what I'm I'm wearing.
The point is that you're not wearing things, Michi, in the dark. It's why I was saying is if looking causes you distress,
what the fuck are we talking about?
you turn the lights off, so then you're not looking at the person and freaking out. Point.
No, I'm
of the
saying
whole
that
doing.
if I see them naked, it's because they want to change their clothes.
Yes, say it was somebody that you wanted to do things with, and it freaks you out to see them because you get the feelies. You turn off the lights, and then you can't see them. And
you're talking about the other thing. Oh, I see. I was just purely talking about changing clothes. When Ferro was like, it's the best thing, so you can like sense it. And I was like, don't be ridiculous, Ferro. You don't know the difference of like nylon
in,
and
like,
silk.
my
Let's be
top
so
5
real.
people ever, chat. Just so you know, Michi is like definitely in my top 5. I adore this goofy little.
Like, let's be so for
Asian
real,
girl.
okay? I feel this fabric and I know it's blue. No, you can't do that. You know the fabric, but you don't know the color. So how the hell do you know if your outfit's color coordinated? We need to see the fabric to know the color.
There's not going to be an outfit, Michi.
And
That's
I
the
was like,
point.
oh, we're talking about sex. I thought we were still talking about clothes. I have a story to tell. There was one time that I had a crush on this girl. You know, during college, like, you have to stay over a lot. So one time, we have, like, this project together. I was at her place to work a bunch. And one of our outfits required, like, a detailed beading. That shit takes, like, days of, like, constant hard work. So, like, I would do the back and she would do the front. We were gonna go to bed a bit later. But because I was kind of done with my thing and I could continue tomorrow, I went to bed first. I was laying on the top and the lights were still on because she was still working. And I was like trying to fall asleep. Then the lights turned off. So I rolled over to be like, oh, is she also like done? I was about to be like, hey, bestie, I didn't hear you like leave the room. So I think you should shower before you go to bed. At least brush your teeth. And then I felt that she went on the bed and she was like laying beside me. And I remember like I felt like I was gonna die. Because at that time, chat, you gotta understand, I don't know whether she's straight or whether she like swings that way. My best idea is just assume everyone is straight until proven otherwise. Like, that's my mentality. And she was so close. I was like, oh shit, my bad, bro. I forgot. You need to sleep here. I'm just gonna roll down. I didn't even stand up and go down normally. I rolled myself down to the bottom bed. And then I just went, okay, I'm gonna go to bed now. Or do you want to continue with the beads? Like, I can wake up and continue with the beads. Like, yeah, what do you want me to do? She was like, oh, haha, no, it's okay. I'll just go to bed. I was like, okay, good night.
That makes sense. Nothing was communicated.
Could not sleep that night. I shit you not, the next day I feel like something about me broke. That could have been my first kiss, chat. I could have gotten my first kiss. I could have been like, guys, you want to hear the story of my first kiss? No.
So
Until
could
today,
you
I
have
still
fumbled?
don't know.
Sure. Could you have dodged sexual harassment charges? Also sure. You got to look at it on both sides of that.
First love is usually like, she was not my first love. I've had love experience. I've fallen in love before. But it's like love is nice, actually. I quite like falling in love. I don't know. Jesus.
I only do the platonics. I don't do the romantics. When I reached the point in my life when somebody told me they loved me and my first thought is, what do you want? I realized that I was in a place where I should stop trying to be in relationships. Me and the roommate, we tried really hard to date because like we're really good friends and stuff like that. So it just made sense to us. Like, obviously we should date or whatever.
Oh, okay.
And we could never make it work. And there was a day she looked at me dead in the face and said, I love you. And she said I physically winced. And she was like, when I saw you wince, I knew you were way too traumatized to stuff ever again. I'm like, yeah, probably. Do you want the list? Because I mean,
Oh man.
it took a few to get me here, but boy, they finally got me here. No, it's fine, chat. Like, honestly, the trauma has been healed as much as the trauma is gonna get healed. And honestly, I'm pretty happy. If I wasn't happy, then it would be an issue. But I'm comfy. I'm in my zone of peace. I have no complaints. Exactly, it is what it is. I get to hang out with all my silly little anime girls and have a good time. And I go to work and then I come home and I, mess with chat. And I couldn't ask for a whole lot better than what I've got, honestly, like for real, for real. This is... You don't have to be rich. You don't have to be famous. You just have to find where your peace is.
I like being
having my
rich.
peace is, oh, of course. I don't care if I'm in a relationship or not. I don't need to be with somebody to be happy with myself.
Yeah, that's
But
something that
I'm
my
happy
mom
with
says
myself.
too. My mom says like your partner should be your accessory, like so
Yes,
without
I
them you're still fine, but
Actually,
with them you're better.
100% agree. TV and movies and Disney and all this bullshit has programmed a lot of people to think that, oh, if I don't need the person I'm with, it's not true love. No, bad mentality. You are now dependent on that person for a very large chunk of your functional existence.
People with this mental problem that I have is you get insanely attached to someone and then you put that someone on a pedestal. Anything you want will give, right? Because like you're practically like our god at that point. It's different
That's
from
like
bipolar.
the people that romanticize the Harley and Joker relationship.
Yes.
I've never understood that one.
Okay, so
That is
BPD and
so
bipolar
bad.
is different. Bipolar is manic episodes. BPD is a whole different thing. It's like a personality disorder, right?
Yeah, it's borderline personality disorder.
Yeah, so like your personality
very different.
switches. Your whole personality changes. Like your belief, your core belief, your everything changes. As the
Right.
person receiving it, you might feel good because you feel like, oh my god, this is amazing. But for me, like that shit hurts. But if you don't go to therapy, most of the time, the self-hate in between the switches are so bad, you would try and like end it. Every time I get happy, I would write it down. I'm like, okay, I feel happy because I finally got this and this made me happy. So then the next day when I start being like feeling weird, I read the log and I'm like, aha, everything's fine.
See, you know, and people get down on trauma dumping, and I think public trauma dumping is a problem, but you know,
I do that.
sometimes, but yeah, but everybody's here for that. It's called your content. Anyway,
I can do that. I have a specific
did they?
therapist
Okay.
because like way before I started streaming, like years and years ago, my mental problem was more onto the severe end, so they recommended me a specific therapist that I need to go get checked every 3 months to make sure I'm not like off the rails. Because of my BPD, they have a log of my usual traits and personality. They're like, so I realize you stopped doing this, instead you do that. If I don't have a reason, then they will like pull me back. But if I do have a reason, like, oh, because recently I found out that this part of life is actually really interesting and I became interested in it. And they're like, okay, this is a healthy development. That's okay. It's super cool. It's like, oh my god, you don't know me the way my therapist does. Like there's a time where I got really upset at my therapist because they're like, okay, I hate to break it to you, but this is not normal development and we need to like, you know, reel it back on, like reevaluate. And I was like, no, this is normal. I'm standing my ground. This is who I am. It wasn't normal. I was like, okay, no, you're right, it's not normal. I have a habit of like scraping the nape of my neck. It used to be pretty bad. Like I have scars in the back of my neck because of it. I used to scratch it really like hard and it was really deep. I remember someone saw it one time and they're like, oh my god, are you suicidal? And I'm like, no. I just have a bad habit, I'm sorry. And my therapist has to be like, I see you doing the thing, what's wrong? And I'm like, nothing's wrong. And they're like, the scratching. And I'm like, and they're like, is it itchy? I'm like, no. They're like, then you're going through a thing. And I'm like, okay, I am going through a thing, but like, what do you mean? It was so odd. Having people see you like that is so weird. You know, back then, before my BPD diagnosis, people, like, I was diagnosed with schizophrenia. Couple of months, I had to take schizophrenic medicine. They were like, you're schizophrenic. And I was like, no, I'm not. And then I took meds, and then I was like, literally numb. I was like, this is not right. I can't do shit. Yeah, I got misdiagnosed a lot in the past. Like, woof.
So, they hit me with the fucking lithium. 1,200 milligrams a day. I was on so much lithium, they had to take my blood every other week to make sure that it wasn't actively killing me.
Jesus. I remember. This is one of the funnier ones. I found out that I'm allergic to lead, a specific type of lead, because my medicine had lead. Not anything to do with like a mental problem. It was during the time they had to put me under anesthesia. So they asked me, what are you allergic to? And I was like, some type of lead that you can find in like antidepressants. And they're like, why are you depressed? I was like, what the fuck?
Why do you take
Right.
antidepressants, Michi?
What the fuck do you think?
I got a tummy ache.
It was so awkward.
Yeah.
I was sitting there. I was like, how do I tell this old lady?
When I was in high school, they officially diagnosed me with bipolar. Years later, that turned out to not be the case. And if you had any kind of a behavior thing, that was the go-to diagnosis. I had a nervous breakdown because of some situations in my personal life. I was a cutter. I don't have the scars anymore because I never really went that deep. Yeah, exactly. Using physical pain to, sort out the mental stuff. We all got something wrong with us. That's just being human nowadays. I think people have always had things wrong with them. It was just not acknowledged. And then I ended up having to move away because like family things were going on that were just not good. And so I ended up having to step myself down off of the lithium. And can I tell you how exciting that is when you're detoxing off of lithium and you start seeing things and hearing things? Like I was just
I had those
zeroed
too.
out.
I know what you're talking
Which
about.
was actually kind of nice at the time. I was like, you know what? This is a nice break. I don't need to feel things right now. I'll just take the scary pills. That's fine.
Yours is like, oh, you're tripping, hallucination wild. My thing was like, I genuinely believe I could see the future. Like, I was like, oh my god, because everything feels like slightly deja vu-y. I know what's gonna happen next, guys. We're gonna get hit by a truck. We're gonna get hit by a truck. I was like, Michi, you're in a building. I was like, no, a truck's gonna crash through a building. I remembered that. I'm gonna be so for real. It saddens me to say that we kind of have gone through some stuff, but like, you're not weird. It's normal. And if you have like went through it and now you have like your battle scars, you know, it's a reminder that you survived something hard. And now you're here, and that's all that matters, you know? I do have like scars, but it's really high up my leg. I was so insecure. That was one of the reasons I do not like wearing skirts, because like if I sit and it shows, it makes me like, oh no, people are gonna think I'm weird. I'm not gonna show it off, obviously, but like, it's not something you should be ashamed about. It's understandable. It is what it is. At least you made it. That just shows that you are strong. So you shouldn't be ashamed of yourself.
Just so we can be in solidarity. I have the letter K branded into my sternum because that was her first initial. Yeah, that's why Ferro doesn't drink rum anymore. Yeah, exactly. Just life is gonna knock you down. That's what happens. And like, it doesn't matter. I've known wealthy people. I've had to pick up wealthy people off the ground. Sounds like awesome, but more money can get you into more problems, right?
Bro.
Because then you have more money to get into problems with,
Fucking
right?
true, dude. I just had this conversation with my friend where I literally said like, it feels like the more money you get, the more debt you're in.
When I was working one of my security jobs, one of the owner's sons, I had to go and pick him up from a bar one night because he got so out of control, they threw him out of the bar. While he sat there drunk and just wrecked out of his mind, apologizing to me about, you know, I shouldn't be having to pick him up. He's a grown adult. He should know better. This man was 10 years younger than I was and looked 20 years older than I was. From all the drugs and alcohol in his life.
That's
because sometimes if you have too much money, you just find new ways to spend it, right?
Yeah. Someone in chat said like, learn from it, don't make it as an excuse. That does sound mean, but it's not bad at all. Like, you giving excuses, you're saying all these excuses to other people. By the end of the day, when you're all alone, you don't believe in it and you just hate yourself more. I get it. We've all been there. Right? That's why the moment you stop excusing these bad behavior, you can actually become a person you like. It's good.
The strongest person is the person that can look at themselves and admit when they've done something wrong, learn from it, and then move on to do better. As old as I am and the experience and stuff like that, shit, I still fuck up all the time. I'm better about not doing it because I think really hard about what I do and say before I do and say it, but it still happens.
I've trained to lie to myself so much. It's okay. You can unlearn it. It's so doable to unlearn. Trust.
Hey, dork, isn't it collab time?
Oh, shit. You're right. Wait, not in a bit. Say your goodbyes, Ferro. Therapist Ferro, session ends now. In order to redeem it, give Ferro $5. Oh, chat saying, bye, Ferro, said Pepe.
Goodbye, chat. It was fun.
Huzzah! Yeah. Okay, chat. You don't ever need to be worried about being perfect. I know, I'm just born this way. The moment Ferro leaves, I become cringe, chat. Unleash the cringe!